10, about 12 feet on each
All
side.
right, we are now recording.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I now open the Board of Zoning Appeal for the business of the day. Mr. Vornovic?
Yes, the applicant is Calvin Coles. He requests a variance to section 5-8.1 of the Blackstone zoning ordinance. The request, if granted, would permit a single-family dwelling to be constructed on a 50 feet wide infill lot. Term infill means it's not a new subdivision. It's an older subdivided piece of property, and there are other homes already built in that area. And if you guys are familiar with it, there was an old trailer. It was either a funeral home or a florist shop. Florist shop over there. It was a trailer with an old house that was connected to it. Really kind of ramshackle. And the town ended up tearing it down probably 6 years ago. Mr. Davis was still alive, so longer than that, maybe 7 years ago. We tore it down, and it's really been a legal hot potato back and forth, and who owned it and who didn't own it. And I think it was the Greenhill family, but we couldn't get a hold of the Greenhill family, so I actually had the judge allow us to take it down. There was a guardian ad litem sign, I don't know if you guys remember, but it really took a long time. But it has been sold at a tax sale, and Mr. Hardy bought that. Paul Hardy bought that property, maybe a year ago, or there. I think it was in November last year. And subsequently, Mr. Coles would like to build a home on that property. It is 50 feet wide, as are most of the lots adjacent to it. I think Miss Davis's lot is a little wider. I didn't scale it perfectly, but I think you have more than 50 feet on your lot. But the house on the other side, on the south side, is of comparable size. The question is today, not the use, because a house can be built. The question is setbacks. And since it's only 50 feet wide, and if this were a new lot subdivided today, it would be required to be 80 feet wide, okay? 50 feet is what it is. It was permitted years ago when the subdivision plat was recorded. 50 feet was the going standard at that time, apparently. So it is a 50-foot lot, and the request is to build a home on that lot and waive the setbacks.
What is the requirement for space between buildings in a neighborhood? How many feet?
The only specific separation that I'm aware of is in townhouse developments or multifamily because of fire protection. I don't think there's a specific setback between single-family homes in our ordinance.
So like from the side of this house to the side of that house doesn't have to be a set number.
Not according to our zoning ordinance, no, sir.
But it does have to have it would normally.
The setback.
Set the 15%.
And it's 15% of the road frontage is your setback from your property line, okay?
Right.
So 80 feet, the 15% of 12 feet,
Right.
all right? So on an 80-foot lot, it would be a 12-foot setback. But I think the house to the south of this property, I think that's probably even closer than 12 feet now. Are you the lady that lives next door? You're with the Davises, okay. There's another house just to the south of it, and it's mighty close to the property line.
Yeah,
Grandfathered,
It's 10 foot.
10 foot? Okay. I know you put some corner stubs in. So there's not a requirement of separation between houses. There's just a requirement of the side setback, and that's dictated by the width of the lot.
So if the lot is kind of grandfathered at
Mhm.
50-foot size, and there was already a building there, and there's no set amount of buffer between the houses on either side, what is the variance?
The variance is a request on the setbacks, but he's proposing, if you look, and we said as an example, if you remember, we've done this, and
Right.
Alan, this may be your first time, it's about our third or fourth request
Yeah.
on 50-foot lots, okay? And if you read his request, it says on the second page, I'm requesting a variance for 507 South Dillard Street. I understand the setbacks require the width of a new home to not exceed 35 feet, and my proposed home is planned for 28. So if you looked at 50 feet, 15% of 50 feet is 7.5 feet. I feel like that is beyond my authority to approve, so I bring those small lots to you guys.
You're talking about from the street to the front steps is what you're talking about?
No,
Now, this would be the side setback.
side from each house.
The setbacks
Just
require the width of a new home not to exceed. So if you look at it, he's proposing a 28-foot lot or house, got 50 feet. So the difference is 22 feet. So he's proposing 11 feet rather than the 12.
On each side.
The 80.
Well, the way that is handled as a standard is when you build a house on an infill lot, you have two options. You can be 35 feet off the right-of-way, which is not the pavement, or you can be in line with your adjacent neighbor,
Right, okay.
It's
Has
either
an
or
option.
in that case.
whichever is less. Yeah, so if the house is closer to the street next door, you can be a little closer too, so you're not building behind other folks.
So, well, we're gonna be 12 foot on each side,
Okay,
cause I'm only doing 26 foot.
so the house is gonna be 26 feet.
So it's not 28 according to the,
It's gonna be 12, see,
look at the drawing? Okay, I didn't look at the drawing.
I had to hold it back and read it.
So he's offering the same side setbacks as an 80-foot lot would have.
So it's going to be 11 feet on each side of
And I
that.
think he's changed that.
Well,
So what he's offering, he's got a 26-foot lot or house, so he's got 24 feet to work with, so 12 and 12, which is the same as it would be if you had a 80-foot lot.
so he scaled the home back
Scale
to,
the home back and I'm in the process to buy a little strip from the lady next door, so then it's gonna be,
Okay,
then it'll meet it anyway.
okay.
But either way, it's still meeting what they require for a regular lot.
For a regular lot, it'd be 12 feet, which is
And I-
80 feet.
and I'm at
So
12.
he's offering the same setback, but because these are 50 foot, and I think we set as a standard, you
Right.
guys wanted to consider these on an individual basis instead of creating a rule. But we had talked about making the minimum side setback at 12 feet. But I think one of the cases, this is a little bit of education for you, was over on College, and it was really close to another house. And they wanted additional setback on one side and reduced the setback on, because there was an alley on the other side. So they pushed the house over.
To the
I say
alley.
The BZA slid the house over, and I think it was maybe 16 feet on one side and 8 feet on the other side or something.
This house, the property line to the side of his house is gonna, is gonna be 12 feet, is what you're saying?
That's
On
gotta be
both
12 feet.
sides?
Right, gotcha.
on both.
Based on what he's presenting to it. His original letter said 28 feet, but his diagram shows 26, so he's going with 26.
We used a previous letter and we didn't pay attention to that part when we
Yep.
were doing that.
Okay. So it's a 26-foot wide
So
home.
what he's saying, Mr. Queen, is it's gonna be 12 feet from this property line and 12 feet from this property line and fit in within there, so they'll be 12 feet right now.
Is what he's
What
proposing.
is 6-foot house?
And that pretty much is in keeping with, if you remember, we had proposed at one time to say, let's just make it 12 feet for everybody, regardless of lot size. You know, we don't have to have a BZA meeting, but because individual circumstances may dictate, I think that Jake was on there. He really wanted to make sure that everybody got to take a look at it.
Okay, and then the floor is open to the public. Is there anyone here to speak for the property?
Yeah, well, all my stuff already been said.
Okay. So that being said, is there anyone present to speak against?
I'm Miss Davis, I'll be next door to him. I don't have no problem with him building his house there. I just wanted to know how far would it be to my house. Now, see where this black car is, that is his lane. I just wanna know how much it's gonna be in the center.
12, it's gonna be
You're gonna
12
have
feet
12,
from your house,
yeah.
Now, from your
From the property
from
line.
your property line.
line.
Is that telephone pole in the picture your property line?
No, that's his. Mine is from that little part right here, where the little house is right there. But see where my son car parked, now that's his lane.
But it's still gonna be, it's gonna be more than 12 foot from your house though,
Oh, yeah, because whatever you've got from your house
to
to the property line, in addition to.
Then I gotta be 12 foot from
the
your
line.
property line over, so it's gonna be more than 12 foot from your line.
Yeah, see,
If your house, and your house isn't terribly old, that was relatively recently
In the
placed,
eighties.
wasn't it?
I think it
Oh,
was built
no.
in the eighties, the early eighties.
In the
it
eighties,
was
it
already
doesn't
built.
look that old,
Somebody
but
else had lived in it, well, we moved in it when she was
I
4.
think my father said it was built in the early.
if you were to have followed the same rules, these rules were put in place in 92, so it was before that. But if you were to hold it at 12 feet, then it has to be no closer than 24 feet, 12 on you and 12 on him. Your house is older than I thought, because it looked very modern and new.
I know, we keep it up.
Yeah, it
We
looks
did.
nice, and, but he's gotta be 12 feet from the property line,
Okay,
not to your house.
And then
It's gonna
that'll
be
be
that,
24,
About 20.
yeah.
24 to 30 foot probably.
I don't have no problem
And
with it,
does anybody live here?
Yeah.
yeah.
So what are you purchasing from them?
They just got like a 5 foot strip.
So is this behind it
No,
or
right on
over
the
here?
side.
So over here.
If you guys are curious what he's talking about, I've got the tax map right here. If you wanna look at it,
Okay.
or if anybody on the BZA would be curious.
Yes.
That's on, what are
That's
they?
Shaheem.
Shaheem side, yeah. Cause she got like 5 foot and ain't nothing she can do with it.
So what he's saying is these people over here
Uh-huh.
have a 5 feet lot that they can't do anything with, so
Right.
he's gonna
He's
purchase
gonna
that and
wanna
give him a
purchase
little
that,
more room
right.
also.
Okay.
But what you're voting on is not in anticipation of that.
No,
You're voting on
no,
it.
it's
It's
just
in
what,
the-
how it
Yeah.
is now.
Okay.
How it-
How it is
yeah.
now.
Okay.
Okay, so now, do you have any other statements, Ms. Davis? No.
Is this
So if
lady-
there,
do you have any?
She is gonna take,
This is Ms.
She's gonna
Tyler
be on the
Scott, she
board.
is going to be,
Okay.
appointed to the board.
Okay,
This is Monica Hazelwood Frisbee.
how are you?
okay, there being no more comments, so I hereby close the public forum. I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the variance as stated, 12 feet on both sides, being that it was a 50-foot lot and it's what has happened in the past and it's the standard.
I second that.
Okay, the motion been properly moved and second that we will accept the 12-foot variance on each side of this property. Are we ready for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried. So, motion carried. So, Mr. Coles,
Thank y'all.
congratulations.
And everything's been, I'm sure he's gonna be a fabulous host and try to please everybody. You know?
I told him I was turning 70 next year, I'm ready to retire, I want some good people.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, one more, I'm sorry, one more question. I think one of the board had asked, is this gonna be a rental or for sale?
Try to sell it.
Okay. All right.
So, is there any more from the floor?
One more, if we could
Okay.
approve the
approve.
minutes from the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting in February 9th, 2022.
I make a motion that we approve those minutes.
Okay.
It's been moved and properly second that we will,
Did somebody
Second.
second? Okay, thank you.
been moved and properly second that we will accept the motions from February,
The minutes from February 9th,
the
2022.
minutes from February 9th, 2022. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried unanimously. So that's all we have. Hereby close the Board of Zoning Appeals.
6/8/18, I think.
I think so.
Okay. So we'll do 6/18.
If any of y'all have questions about any of the land development projects, things that are going on around town, she can end the meeting, and if you have some questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you if you got any.